So over the next 20 minutes or so, we will hear insights from Sigrid and from Laurent as well into the art and the craft of directing live football matches. But first, a very quick introduction. So Sigrid is an experienced multi-camera director working across a range of sports, covering different world-class events including football, tennis and handball, and she's the only woman director covering France's Ligue 1. And Laurent, of course, is responsible for directing host coverage of two of the biggest games in world football last year, the Champions League final and the World Cup final as well. And the World Cup final seems like a very good place to start, if we may. So if we cast our minds back to December the 18th, Lusail Stadium, Argentina against France, 2-0, 10 minutes to go, 2 late goals from France, extra time, a penalty for each side, penalty shootout, man of the match performance for Lionel Messi, hat-trick for Kylian Mbappe. I mean, it was exhausting watching it at home. What was it like directing it?
This is a great match.
Yeah.
This is an amazing final. And we prepare that like we never prepare this kind of event before. We know since 1 year before we do this match, and we are focused on with all my team to prepare this day. And we do 14 matches in Doha. It's an amazing place to do that because we are close, we don't have travels and nothing like that. And with the team we push match after match to arrive at this one in the better situation regarding the competition, the setup, and to be free of not tired, to be at the best as we can for this match. During 70 minutes, we think we are very unlucky. It's the worst final ever, after Italy maybe, and after that everything changed. And we have to change our mind instantly, and I think we do well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone would agree that it was an amazing spectacle. So what was that like for you? So, you know, you're there, you're surrounded by your team. How do you kind of get that energy level back up? Is that something which you're having to kind of inspire in your colleagues, or does that simply come from the match and what's unfolding in front of you?
When I prepare the match, I just explain it's just one match as usual for us. Finally, it is most important because we need to be focused on the event, but not under pressure by the events. And I explained for us, for the team, and it's a lot of person. It's just another match. It's for the world around. It's the different one. It's another topics. But for us, we have to prepare one. As we prepare the first one, as we prepare the match here in Paris for the French leagues, it's the same thing. We use the same method of words to prepare the match and to be cool, if I can say that, to be cool.
Is that easy in that moment? Obviously, there's so much going on, particularly towards the end.
To be absolutely honest, we work a lot to arrive at this situation, to do this one. We try to be consistent match after match after match after match to have a chance to be pleased, and here we are. So we are. Yes, we know we are the right place. We are a good team to do that. I think we provide the security for the rider. We no mess, no problem. Live first in all case, and in this situation you are very confident, and you're happy to be here. And yes, why not? I'm not stressed about that.
And Qatar, as with every World Cup, saw quite a few new introductions in terms of technology, innovation, different tools and toys, if you like, at your disposal. Are there any that really stood out for you, that really kind of helped you in what you do and helped to tell that story?
No, the beauty of this World Cup is normally this kind of event you're more conservative, but in this case, not. It's the first time we have some sequence in the dressing room when the player arrived, and it's an incredible moment because we're very appreciated. And I think, and I'm sure, we need to keep some secrets, and dressing room is a secret place. And it's important when you do something because people need to work with imagination, and we don't need to see everything. But we have 2 minutes in the dressing room in the World Cup when the Brazil arrive with the music. It's an amazing moment. Share with everybody. We have this one on the World Cup. It's the first one. We have some new tools on statistic at the halftime, end of the game, regarding statistic on pitch with 3D graphics. And I think we need to do that in a game. It's amazing because we have some footage, we have statistics, put on a screen, put on a pitch, and it's a new way to put graphics on. And it's in the World Cup for the first time. We have a cine-style camera on this event, and I think HBS do very well the job because more than a new tools or toys, I don't know, we select what we do with these tools, and we a choice to be in the corridor because we want to create something different because it's more immersive, we are most close to the player, and it's the right way to use this kind of those tools. And at the end, we do Ronaldo the last out on the stadium, and I think it's an amazing sequence because we share with Ronaldo something more than he lost a game, and no, he lost a part of him for the last time. He left the pitch with the jacket of the Portugal, and these tools we are really with. It's a long time. We used a long time for the shot, and I think it's a beautiful sequence. This is the new things what we have in the World Cup.
Over the course of the tournament, did you change how you used that cine style footage? Did you and the way that you deployed that during the live match?
I think all the time I say, and we have some technology, amazing things, but at the end the most important thing is the guy behind, and we work very well and more, and we push hard with the cameraman who use this camera to be. The problem with this kind of tools, you need to be very close to the player. It's exactly the worst thing what we can do. So we work to be discreet, I don't know the word in English, to be transparent, holoman, to do the footage. And we do forward, to have, we are here, but we don't want to be, to have to block the player, because in this, if we do that, we block the sequence. Because we want to see the truth. We don't want to see something fake because the camera is here.
Okay. Sigrid, you were part of the team in Qatar, where there was quite an expansion in the amount of coverage on match day, so for that live coverage, and then in terms of the amount of content that was made available to broadcasters in the lead up to matches as well. Can you just tell us a little bit about some of the work that you did out in Qatar?
So I was part of the Matchday -1 team. So actually, we were in charge of the coverage of the teams just before the match day. Sorry. So that includes the press conferences, the trainings, and also sometimes pitch familiarization. So two things that were very interesting is the fact that we were working remotely. So just Nicolas mentioned that, but it was the first time that we experienced that at that level, like not just having the graphics remotely, but really working with the cameras that were moving from training site to training site. And actually, we didn't know each other at the first place. And there was also something that was interesting is the fact that we were working with people of different cultures. So we were a mix of people from NEP Australia with Belgium camera operators and things like that, and we had to find the same the language to work together. So that was very interesting, and then that made us realize how an event like the World Cup is not only the match day, but also a lot of content are produced around it, just to improve the storytelling of the different broadcasters. And we were watching all the matches, and we were trying also to, after a match, to try to understand what were like the stories within the teams, and when we were covering the trainings, trying to find like a reaction from Ronaldo after his, the first time he was on the bench or something like that. So we were really trying to find those small stories that were apparent on the pitch, and we were also realizing that from day one to the last day, teams were becoming more and more aware of the image they were given, and for instance, Ronaldo, just to speak about him, he was like all the guys were, on the training site, and he was like the one arriving the last. And when he arrives, everybody the training.
Waiting for his moment.
So it was saying a lot about, his role in the team. Like, okay, I was on the bench like time, but the training is not starting before I come on the pitch, and all those things. It was kind of our way to feel like we could, contribute to what broadcasters were doing with this footage. But
did you find that the players and the teams were very receptive to having that coverage and being captured in those moments and in those circumstances? It
really depends on the teams and the culture of the people. Like North American teams, they were very strict about that. They were very aware of the value of these images, and they were a bit in control of that. And some other team, they like Serbia or Croatia, they didn't care much about that. And it's more like the player's perspective. And you have players who really knew when they were, when they knew the tally, and they knew when we were, focusing on them. So some were showing up or not. So it's really interesting to see how much they are, some of them, aware of the image they are providing.
Yeah, and one of the key differences, I guess, for Qatar was the location and the proximity of the stadiums as well. Effectively, a one-city tournament. What impact did that have on your approach, the way that you worked with your teams?
Yeah, two aspects. The first one is really more comfortable, because we have just to use the buses, move 20 minutes, we are in Lusail, 20 minutes we are in Tumama, and 30 minutes we are in Ben Ali. The tricky point could be sometime when we have 5 weeks with a lot of people in the same place, it's tricky to have the team life easy. But in this case, everything is okay. At the end, it's absolutely perfect because we are not tired. And it's this kind of event. Normally, after a few days, you finish the match, you move to the hotel, take the buses, take the plane, arrive, go to the stadium, check back. It's very, c'est très épuisant. So we are very fresh, and it's the reason why it's very easy to deliver what we deliver at the end.
So it's going to be quite a change in a few years' time in North America.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in terms of your team as well, when we spoke before about your preparation for the match, and you mentioned that once you're confirmed for a job, one of your first calls that you'll make will be to your Spidercam team to make sure that you've got them in place and you've got the operators that you want. Can you just give us a sense of how else you kind of pull that team together, who those kind of, or what those key roles are, and what that process is like leading up to a tournament? To
share a small history with everybody here, because it's serious. When I have the call to say to me, you do the World Cup and you do the final, I move to the AVS office in Boulogne. I'm in my car. Somebody called me, say, yeah, you move to the Qatar, you do a lot of matches, you do the final. And I stop and I'm happy like Kylian Mbappe after a goal. And after that, first thing I do is booking the Spidercam guy. Because when you have tools like that, any kind of tools, it could be slow-mo, Spidercam is special one. The most important thing is the guy in behind. And since Canada Women's, I meet 2 German guys, and I know they are very, very good. I think it's the strong Spidercam team in the world. And I called this guy first before my assistant and everything to say, we do that, please. Fix the date because I need you and you need to be with. And I processed for all the crew in the same way. It's important to have yes, the best guy at the best place, but you need to have some person we are capable to live with a lot of guys because during 5 weeks without any problem, and to be team friendly. And sometimes it's most important to have that than the better of the better cameraman in the world.
Okay. Sigrid, I read an interview of yours where you said about being a director that your role is to give a vision to everyone and to make sure that everyone has the right information and that they can move in the right direction. Can you expand on that a bit for us and just give us a sense of how you prepare and how you would go about preparing your team as well?
So I think that I was trying just to explain my understanding of, my role as a director. And you are working with a team, and as Laurent mentioned it before, you are kind of responsible for organizing the resources to create something that is going to be broadcast. And what's important first is the end user, the viewer, the sports fan, and how he's going to experience the game. But also you have right holders, and actually it's their value proposition to say, okay, we are going to cover the game that way or that way. And when you are working for FIFA, for instance, I guess they are asking you to do things in a certain way, more balanced in terms of, coverage, etc. When you are working from Canal+, they have a very premium image, and they really are trying to produce the content in a certain way to provide a premium image of the sports, which is, their value proposition. That's why people are paying for. And so understanding those differences is also something that is important. And the way I understood my role is to find the right combination to have everybody happy. And how you do that, in the end, the first step is to understand what you are expected to produce, and then to find a way to communicate it to the team. And we are very lucky. I feel I'm very lucky in France because we have a lot of very good camera operators and EVS operators. And sometimes it's your role to listen to them because they are much more experienced, and they are there to help you to reach that goal. So sometimes it's better not to micromanage, but to just give the big picture, the information you have, and they will do their job at their best to get to that direction.
And can you give us an idea of your route into the industry as well? Because I guess the profession is quite male-dominated, it's probably fair to say. So can you give us an idea of what your route into live broadcasting generally and then directing more specifically?
Well, it's true that it's male-dominated, but I think I have some hypotheses about that fact. But I think we are in a society that is evolving in the right sense. And I started to work in the broadcast industry in sports, and working on a few years ago, beIN Sports bought the right to broadcast the Ligue 2 game. It was the first time, I guess, that all the Ligue 2 games were broadcasted every week. No? Okay, sorry. He's right. Everything he says is right. No, but so we were working on teams where you had 4 cameras planned, and we were saying very small teams to do the job. And after a couple of years, okay, I was able to put the camera on screen, etc. But I think at that time we used to learn by watching other games and try to deduce from what we saw on the screen what's the logic behind, what were like the golden rule of storytelling. But after a while, you watch 2 games and sometimes you don't know who's directing. And so people that are doing the job differently. And that's when I heard about the HBS Broadcast Academy. And actually Laurent was, running it. He was teaching it. And actually it was a great way to learn best practices about storytelling in sports, and also he's very generous. Like any question you ask, he gives you everything. You know, he has no secret because, and that's very fair. It's not only you have to put the camera there and do that. He's really giving you the his vision, and up to you to respect it or not. You know, but at least you understand how he considers his role as a TV director. And that was really game-changing for me. You know, the next game, everything was different because I completely, it opened many doors. And I'm still now trying to, being inspired by that.
So, so Laurent, your work with HBS, Broadcast Academy, which Sigrid has spoken about very glowingly. What in your mind, what else can be done to get more women into those kinds of roles? Is it all down to that kind of sharing knowledge and experience?
I think it's complicated to explain, but I think football is more guy, because more guy maybe looks the football when you're a kid, I don't know. But today is not the point. The academy is an open place to start, but this year we do, and we have 10 guys, no girls. What we can do?
I don't know. Kind of pipeline of talent.
I think it's an open world, and it's nice to have some girl in these things. It's always nice. In my team, I would like to have many girls as possible because, you know, balance, it's more efficient, and we do a better job. So please, girl, come. It's okay.
Okay, listen, we're nearly out of time. So one question that I just wanted to ask you very, very quickly to both of you is around technologies, introduction to new technology. What is it that excites you, just very briefly, what technology excites you that you think might help you to do your job better and to aid that storytelling craft?
Data, insertion of data, physical data at disposal, to say one important thing, where are the players on pitch really? When the player really run quicks, more important things. These kind of things. How we can put that on air at a good moment with a graphic in, something like that. Second thing is we need to discuss, think about how we can provide the main camera in a stadium. We have since the beginning of the history of the television, we see the match with a fixed point at the middle level, eye level. This is the good way, yes. Can you move a little bit forward with something like a moving camera on the eye level? These kind of topics. And last thing, quick, integration of data in a second slow-mo sequence to have the input of the consultant to say, guy, this is the point, this pass, there's 3 guys out of the game, small graphics on a slow-mo, in a second slow-mo sequence at the moment.
Perfect. Nicely done. Sigrid, anything to?
Yeah, I just mentioned remote work, but because it's more something I'm confronted to, and then as a viewer, I really love the options that are offered by multi-screen, etc. And sometimes I we are asked to be careful with the replays, and sometimes you have very nice replays, but you cannot show them. And that's something I'm really thinking about a lot. Like, is it a way to, and screens are, people's television are bigger and bigger. So maybe a way to have, multi-screen broadcasting where you have the main game live, and then you propose the replays on your screen, and you can choose to watch them or not. These are the kind of things that are interesting. Or also being able to broadcast on the social networks live, from the Obi van. These are something, because there is so many footage that is not used during the game and has a lot of value, at the instant, that we have them, so we should be able to do something with it.
Perfect. Thank you very much. We're going to have to stop it there, I'm afraid, before my colleagues start throwing things at me. So please join me in thanking Laurent and Sigrid. Thank you very much.
Thank you.